Hello and welcome to A Gypsy's Kiss, the book club, now with sound. I'm Shelley Carney.
And I'm Toby Eunice. Stick with us for a couple of seconds. And not only will we talk about chapter 21, Father on the Banco, but we will share Forrest Fenn's thoughts on this particular chapter with you. I'm going to stay in full screen.
I think it's shaving cream.
I have shaving cream on my lip.
Something white.
Is it still there?
It's gone now. Maybe it was a dandelion or something.
A dandelion. Okay, so let's do a couple of things first. But I forgot what they were. What are we doing first?
Housekeeping?
No, what wine are we drinking?
We're going to do that first?
Yeah, why not? Okay,
Oh.
housekeeping. Let me go to housekeeping.
Okay, well, we're just going to jump around, skip around. And
Yeah, you know
have a good
that
time.
week off of worth of vacation?
Yeah.
It really just messes with your director's brain.
Oh.
So,
Your
okay.
director's brain or mine?
Not mine. You
Well,
have the
hello and thanks for joining us today. Please take a moment now to like this video with a thumbs up. I know there's not much to like yet, but it's coming. Once you see it, then you can like it.
Yeah.
Share it with your social media contacts. Let them know we're live right now. Join us in the chat room. And subscribe. Then click on the bell to receive notifications when we go live or release a new video. Our housekeeping. Oops. Okay, well, there's an elevator today instead of a door.
You had to get to that floor or what?
I guess so.
Okay, I'm not feeling bad now.
Our moderators in our chat room are Jimmy Fast, Joel Lewicki, Jason Eunice, Brian Eagle, and Eric Schmidt.
Brian's in the room.
And we thank our gentlemen moderators for being here to keep the chat safe and the conversation flowing. If you would like to volunteer as a moderator for our channel, just send us an email at gypsieskiss@gmail.com and we'll add you to the list. Our presentation today will be followed by open Q&A, mostly related to the book and the chapter, but then we can open it up to whatever you'd like to talk about as long as we're done in 1 hour.
1 hour?
Yeah, 1 hour.
So I can't go off into Never Neverland?
Well, since you're not going to be showing all of our pictures and it's a short chapter,
Yeah,
I think
good
we'll
point.
make it.
All right. So now can I do the one? Mm-hmm. Okay. So we got. I'm gonna go back to. This deserves full frame, so I'm gonna go back to full frame for just a second, and then I'll come back. Remind me to come back.
Well, we're done
Okay.
with that page
Yeah.
anyway.
So we got one of our subscribers, one of our viewers. His name is John Tack. He's from Iowa. He sent us 2 bottles of wine. We exchanged emails, and he said he had some wines that are local to his area, and that he wanted to share them with us. And he sent us 2 bottles of wine. This one, they're both from Ackerman Winery at ackermanwinery.com. I went to their website, and they specialize in fruit wines and wines of the area. So who knew Iowa had a big wine growing community?
Specifically, Marengo, Iowa.
Marengo,
which
Iowa,
I've
if you've never been
heard
there. So we had
Been
2
to
choices.
Davenport.
One was the Iowa Dandelion Blossom wine, and the other was mead, which I always thought was a beer. And then Shelley tells me that mead.
Well, traditionally, of course, it's made from honey. And it was a special drink that they had for weddings. They would celebrate at the reception with it. And then they'd have it for the next moon of the couple would drink it for the next moon. 28 days,
Honeymoon.
so you get honeymoon. So their honeymoon
Really?
was based on drinking mead for the 28 days following the wedding.
Well, this is, of course, to assure you that Shelley and I are not going on a honeymoon.
No.
So anyway, it's a beautiful wine. It has this beautiful golden color. And I don't know, for those of you that collect wine labels, there are people that do. It's an eminently collectible wine label. It's really well illustrated, designed and illustrated. So let's put that over here for now. Anyway, we're going to try the next bottle, the Iowa Dandelion Blossom wine, next week. 2.
3,200.
You're so good. 3,200 subscribers.
Yay.
Oh, it's a very sweet, like a Moscato, but you can actually taste the honey in it.
And the bees.
And the bees. The birds and the bees. So, if I was an expert at this, like Joe Lewicki, I would strongly recommend that this is a rich, thick dessert wine. It's very sweet. It probably wouldn't be served in a glass this large. It tastes pretty good chilled. I don't know that it would tolerate not being chilled, but you can actually taste the honey in it. Very, very sweet.
I think
Wow.
that dessert, yeah.
I do
It would
like
go good
dessert
with,
wines.
like a cream cheese and fruit and cheeses and fruits and things that you would have.
Exactly. Yeah, something after dinner with a cheese tray, maybe a fruit tray. It would make, you know what it would make is if you had a special date with someone. Well, I should probably save this for the softer side, huh?
Oh.
Special date with someone, apples, grapes, cheeses, crusty breads, and this wine on a picnic table or on a picnic in a picnic area. That's strongly recommended by the Toaster. So let's go back to here. And the other bit of good news that we have for you today is that, as you are all aware, Forrest has been pretty chatty of recent in the form of exchanges with emails, giving everybody an information. As I've mentioned in the past, we don't get a lot of communications from Forrest unless he knows that he can count on us to do the live streaming, and when it happens, he asks us, and we're very grateful that that's the first thing he does. He asks us. But as I mentioned in the past, we don't exchange a lot of emails, which it's actually one-sided. I send emails. I'm getting, but we have an email with words from Forrest, and we're going to tell you all about that story when we get started with the analysis of the. So should we read them before we do the analysis or afterwards? You're the analyst, so you tell me. Would they make sense before or after?
I would read it before because my analysis is based on the words that are written in the book, and I think this analysis is just based on Forrest's relationship with his father in general.
That's fair. All right. I wanted you to make the decision, so I wasn't doing something that could be declared as Toby marketing, which it is anyway. Right? Okay. So here we are, Forrest Fenn Book Club.
Yes. Thrill of the Chase, Chapter 21, Father on the Banco. And that's on pages 118 and 119. 118 has pictures on it. Did you want to discuss the pictures at all?
I don't. Here's what I want to do instead. So we wanted to make sure that, not that everybody doesn't understand what a banco is, but a banco, in the case of a classic Spanish colonial style house, has a very special meaning. Banco is a Spanish word for bench, basically. But in the Spanish colonial style of house, the ones that have vigas, which is what Fenn's house is all about, I wondered where the banco was, because we've been in his office. And so I went looking for an image that might have the banco in it. And sure enough, this is a picture when we visited with him back in 2017. I asked him if I could take some pictures of the room, and I wanted a picture of the desk because he had so many interesting things on his desk. And in the background, as you can see where the red arrow is pointed, that's the banco. So that's where I think, unless they were in another room, or maybe they could have been at the gallery or something, but if it was his office where he does his business, that would be the banco on which his father was sitting at the time. So we thought that was kind of an interesting thing. And that image is actually on our blog at gypsykiss.com under our photos, and then just go look for the photo set, and I think it's the what do they call it? The image that's associated with that photo set, the display image, something, is Shelley and Forrest sitting on the couch. So just take a look at it. It includes a high resolution version of this image, so you can download it and play around with it. Okay? So, that's not chat. I'm going to go back to full screen for us. Okay? Is that okay? That's where we should be, right?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Do you want to read this?
No, go ahead.
All right. So, first of all, we wanted to express our thanks. Hang on, let me just make this change so I don't forget later. Okay. We wanted to express our thanks to a viewer, a subscriber, a friend, and one of our first, I can't remember how close it was to the first of our It's All About You campaign interviews, Cindy Guess. And as you probably also know, Cindy is part of the search community, but searches with her sister, Tammy, T.I. Mattis. And you'll see them in the room a lot. They come in together when they can. You see them greet one another and talk about the things that they're doing. So Cindy took it upon herself. So Cindy had noticed that Fenn had been really chatty recently, and that she thought that he might tell her something that could be of use to the community. And so she wrote him, and she used our coverage of this particular chapter as a reason, and I think it's an important chapter. It may be short, but I think it's very insightful in terms of Fenn's relationship with his father. So she wrote him, and son of a gun, he wrote back, and she shared that with us this morning. So I'll read it exactly as it was written from both Cindy and from Forrest. Hi, Forrest. Do you have any words I can share with the search community this afternoon on AGK TTOTC Book Club? They are on the chapter titled Father on the Banco. Your friend, Cindy Guess, a Hoosier sister. So she's talking about
Hoosier.
Hoosier. Is that how you pronounce it?
Not Hoosier. It's a Hoosier.
Okay, Hoosier. Is that Indiana?
Yeah.
Indiana. The corn
Hoosiers.
desert, she called it. And that's because she and Tammy both live in Indiana. Here's Forrest's response. My father was strict in his personal habits and wanted the events in his immediate future to be predictable. I am just the opposite, so that probably made me a culture shock to him. I never had the patience to do what he did so well, and he could not have existed even one day in the daily atmosphere that I always chose accidentally. And to me, that describes almost every relationship between fathers and sons. It is rare that they are exactly alike, and when they are exactly alike, it's really noticeable. The ones where they are not exactly alike, you don't notice because that's the norm. So I'm going to read that again. My father was strict in his personal habits and wanted the events in his immediate future to be predictable. I am just the opposite, so that probably made me a culture shock to him. I never had the patience to do what he did so well, and he could not have existed even one day in the daily atmosphere that I always chose accidentally. I think it's a really interesting statement. So,
Well, it reminds me not just of fathers and sons, but of me and my daughter, for instance. I do like to be like Forrest's father. I like to know what's coming up, what's happening, be able to plan things, put them on my calendar, and, save up time or save up money for those events that I know are coming up. Whereas she's just like, nah, whatever, we'll get there when we get there, and if there's money, there's money. If there's not, well, somebody will figure it out. It'll just happen, and
so
no.
we divide the members of our family into head people and heart people, right? My oldest son, Jason, my daughter, Erica, and my son, Carl, are heart people. And to us, to the head people, they always seem disorganized, right? The youngest one is probably the most like me, but the other two, Ryan, and who am I missing?
Sean.
Ryan and Sean are head people, right? So we get, like, when we talk about organizing and planning and stuff like that, we get it all.
I think Sean's more organized than you.
Yeah.
She's super
She's
organized.
definitely super organized.
She has to be. I mean, in her life as an artist and a mom and taking care of so many different things and so many, what do you call it? So many pots on the stove at once, and she has to be organized, but she is.
Yeah, she is
which
well
makes
organized.
It go well.
Jason, my son, who's also an artist, is all about heart, right? And I'm all about head. And so there's always the conflict between you and one of your sons and one of your sons and you as they see the world that you're in. So it sounds to me like Fenn was the heart person and his father, Marvin, was the head person. And that's always going to create... Now, it doesn't mean you love them any less. You have to love them just as much as the others. Not you have to. I didn't mean you have to. You love them as much as the others. But I can understand the relationship because I have that exact same relationship with a couple of my children. Now, I didn't have the benefit of that kind of relationship with my father, only because he died when I was so young. So it just didn't develop in that way. My father to me was just the great tall man that told jokes and was funny and everybody loved. And he didn't see me during my rebellious years, so I'm sure we would experience some of that. But I had that experience as I raised my children, so it's a lot of fun. And we will post that.
So we wanted to give out special thanks to Cindy Guest for getting those words from Forrest for us, and we want to thank Forrest for providing those extra insights to his relationship with his father.
Well, we owe you both great thanks for doing this for us. So I will take that and I will post it to our blog exactly the way it was written. I'll do that after today's show. I haven't done it yet. Okay, Cindy, thank you very much. That was very, very thoughtful. Okay, you ready? Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. The Thrill of the Chase by Forrest Fenn, Chapter 21, Father on the Banco, pages 118 and 119. And that actually it's a very short...
in fact, we're going to read the whole thing because it's one paragraph.
Yeah, it's effectively one paragraph on it. Page 119, paragraph 1. One evening, my father was sitting on a banco near the fireplace in my office at the gallery. Oh, it is at the gallery. Okay. So it wasn't at his home. But that image that I shared with you is what a banco looks like. I imagine that the gallery is probably larger. One evening, my father was sitting on a banco near the fireplace in my office at the gallery, pretending to read a magazine, while I concluded a transaction with 2 clients. When the men left, he went over to my desk and looked at the paperwork. After studying it for a minute, he said, "Son, you've made more money in the last 15 minutes than my home cost, and it took me 20 years to pay for it." Oops.
Sorry.
Oh, it's the president again.
President
Time
of
for
what?
him. I'm president of France.
President of Interrupting
Yeah,
Book Club.
president of Interrupting the Book Club. Okay, I'm going to go back to the beginning of the quote. "Son, you've made more money in the last 15 minutes than my home cost, and it took me 20 years to pay for it." It was a melancholy recollection that suddenly made me feel totally inadequate. When he said he was proud of me, it didn't seem to help. He had a master's degree in education and had spent his adult life teaching children, and all I had was a knack for taking care of myself and my family. That still bothers me. When his home mortgage was finally paid, and he and my mother went out to the backyard and ceremonially burned the papers, they said it was a religious experience. I could see that.
And so, with the rate of inflation we've experienced over the past 70 years, most of us can relate to the exorbitant amount that things cost now as compared to what they cost for our parents or grandparents when they were our age. Many of us know that our parents celebrated the day they paid off their home. Even though most of us probably have moved so many times, we've never done the same except when selling one home and buying another someplace else. It is sobering and humbling to understand just how difficult our parents had it, and yet they didn't complain because they were glad that they could make a better life for their children. Fenn indicates that he was more proud of his father than he was of himself because his father had done so much with so little and had educated so many children throughout his life. Forrest aspired to be more like his father by teaching the local school children about art and history whenever he got the chance, as well as speaking at the university when invited. However, no matter how much money he made, he tells us that he never felt as if he measured up to his father, even when he told Forrest that he made his dad proud. It seems that Fenn feels he missed out on some of the better experiences in life because he had more money than he needed, and life was easier for him than it had been for his father. Forrest mentions that he doesn't believe in giving his grandchildren money and material possessions without them somehow earning it, when he was asked at Moby Dickens why he didn't give the treasure to them as an inheritance instead of hiding it. Forrest Fenn is quoted as saying, "Having enough money is better than having a lot of money. Anyone who dies with more than $50 is a failure."
Questions to ponder. What can this chapter tell us about Forrest Fenn? Why and how he hid his treasure? Does Forrest's father figure into hiding of the treasure? Forrest obviously values educating others. Is the treasure poem educating us? And if so, what about? So, can I address those questions real quickly before we go to Q&A?
Yeah.
So, anytime you read something from Forrest, it has to be in the context of A, the person, the individual, and B, the challenge of the treasure, right, that he's put us upon. So you have to look at it from that. So what he tells me about himself in this chapter is that he had what could best be described as a normal father-son relationship. Where, I don't mean to belittle it, but an abnormal relationship between a father and son is the one where everybody says they are so much alike, right? Those are fewer, and that's what I mean by abnormal, not weird. But there's fewer of those relationships than there are the kind where they say, "Oh, he is just not like his father," right? Or he's etc. So he's describing what is effectively a normal relationship between a father and son, and a bit of maybe I don't know if embarrassment is the right word, but like a feeling of inadequacy, like he didn't do enough to ever make his father proud enough of his father, proud enough of him for his father to say, "Son, I'm very proud of you." And when he did say it, he wasn't sure he could believe him. So that's a struggle for any son. So that's the part about Forrest. When it comes to the treasure, you have to consider that when he did this treasure, he did it in the serendipityness of who he is. That it was for him being just as mischievous as his father always perceived him to be. The little boy, the man that hid that treasure is the same little boy that snuck out of Spanish class and slid down the rusty rail to go do something else besides be in Spanish class, which he knew his father would feel not so good about. And so you have to consider that the mischievousness of this man, the mischievous personality of this man, and being mischievous isn't always intentional. You're just it's fun to be mischievous and then let people figure out that you've been mischievous. So I think that's the part in this chapter that may have an impact on how and where he hid this treasure. But the other thing that he's done is somehow like all sons wants his father to be proud of him, and what could have made his father prouder in the afterlife than to know that his son hid this amazing treasure that his father would never have understood, right? His father would never have understood putting $2 million worth of gems, stone, and gold in a box and hiding it, but doing that in spite of what his father might think, and putting it in a place where if his father knew where he put it, because his father may be the only one that would know, would have made him proud. So there's a part of this story that indicates to me that, and I've said this more than once, I believe it, that the 80-year-old man that made the trek to the location where the treasure was hidden was his father. Forrest went, but he describes his father. Take that and put that in your smoke and pipe it. Okay, enough. I'm getting way off track here. All right.
All right.
So let's go back
Have some more honey.
Yeah. Here's to you guys.
It does smell like honey too.
Wow. If you like sweet wines, and I like sweeter wines more than I like dry wines, but this is beyond sweet. This is, like I said, sweet like a Moscato. Very,
like drinking
very rich.
honey.
Yeah, it's like drinking honey that's been mixed with sweet alcohol.
Wine.
I don't know.
Sweet wine and
Sweet wine.
honey.
That's really good.
That's what it is.
So, all right. So we're going to go into the chat room. And before we do that, I want to remind you that if you'd like to contribute to our campaign, you can use the Super Chat button. It's the $sign down at the bottom of the page. You can click on that. Yes! You should have done that after I said we got words from Forrest. Yes! So I spoke, by the way, I did speak with Cindy this morning before we started the show. I guess it was late or early this afternoon. And I said, anytime you feel like writing Forrest and asking for words related to another chapter in the book, you please do so, and we'll read them, and then post them to our blog. Now, I want you to know also that there is an error in what he wrote, and I will post that to our blog in exactly the way he wrote it. All right?
It's a misspelling.
Yeah. So, but we want you to know that we're sharing everything. Okay, so don't forget Super Chat.
Oh, again? Back again.
YouTube likes it when you give us Super Chat. Oh, no,
Yeah, they do, because they make money.
That's right, yeah. They take 30% of Super Chat right
it.
off the top, yeah. So.
Oh, and we just got some. Look at that.
Where did we get some? Oh, Greg Ferguson, thank you.
Oh, thank you,
That's very
Greg.
kind. And he does, and ask a question, Gregory.
Yes,
Okay,
feel free to
so
ask
we're going
questions.
back to full screen, and then we're going to pop open the chat window and go back way up here. Okay,
All right. Let's say hello to our friends in the chat room, especially Cindy Guess. It was
Cindy
first in the room.
and Tammy,
Tammy, her
right
sister.
there at the top. Thanks, you
Yeah.
guys. Thank you, Cindy and Tammy. I know that you two are really good at supporting each other in everything related to the chase. So
And us as well.
and us. And so thank you both for your continued support.
Yes. And Denise Bagley's here.
Here, I'm going to move the wine back.
JL from North Dakota. Bill Kaiser. Debbie Teal.
Oh, from North Carolina. He's meeting up with Christy. They're both from North Carolina. They have had conversations.
Okay. Debbie Teal and Cirquatum. I don't know.
Sir Quidem.
Hi.
Hi.
Illinois Ghost. Rick McDonald's here. Brent from Austin, Texas. Illinois Ghost says hello. Brian Eagles here.
From Austin, Texas as well.
Arrowhead Junction.
Hey, Joe.
Lori James. Jeremy Milstead. Mark Gramlich. John Tack.
Oh, John.
From the wine.
Thank you, John.
Cheers.
Here, let's give. We need to cheers, John.
Cheers to John. From Hiawatha, Iowa.
Thank you,
To
John.
Iowa wine.
I'm gonna order a bottle of the cherry wine. I don't know if I can order it online. I may have them. I may ask you to pick it up, and I'll pay for it because I love cherries.
And David Dow, Goldilocks, Sean Martinez from Clovis, New Mexico, William Ortiz, Louis Luya from Houston, Jackie Naden from England,
Hi, Jackie.
yeah, Jeep Girl Jody from
Part of-
Colorado,
Hey, Jeep Girl. Okay, scrolling up to Jeep Girl Jody. I'm hoping that
Steve Gahagan, Tipsies. Hello, Tipsies.
we are here. And considering this wine is as good as it is. Uh-oh.
See, you're right. He called it. Sean N.M. from the flip side is here. Jimmy Fast is here. Hi, Jimmy. We haven't seen you in a while. We appreciate your presence in our chat room.
They called me Grandpa last night on their show. Grandpa. Seriously, I'm not that. Well, I am a grandpa. Never mind.
Yeah, but your oldest grandchild is, and not Pony because she's an adopted grandchild.
Right. So my oldest
It's
grandchild.
Phoenix, right?
Phoenix.
And he's what, 12?
No,
11?
he's not 12. He's 11.
11.
Yeah.
His
So
oldest
it's-
grandchild is 11.
And the youngest is Carl's baby. What are he's about 6 months now?
April, right?
Yeah. April, May, June, July, August. 4 months.
4 months. Youngest. Nobody on the way right now.
No.
Probably not for a while.
Not for a
till
while, I
Erica's
think.
ready again.
Yeah, if Erica gets ready again, we might see that. I talked to Toby and Francis last night, and they're talking about, maybe we'll get married someday, but
Yeah, that's good.
they're happy where
No
they are.
hurry.
Yeah.
I, on the other hand, had a new grand nephew welcomed into the world. His name is Braden. I've talked about his sister Kaylin, the little redheaded girl with the blue eyes. He's also a little redhead.
Little redheaded boy.
I'm sure his eyes will be blue as well, and he looks exactly like my brother. So my mom and I were just like, oh, except for the red hair, he looks exactly like him, which is cute.
And it's red. I mean, it's orange red.
Oh, it's natural red, yeah. Treasure Carver's here from Seattle. Maverick Searcher. Paul, hello all. That's a little rhyme for us.
Another UK. Who else? Paul is also from the UK.
Oh. Now Sean NM says, I think this chapter lays out his reasoning for the treasure hunt.
You know what? The more time we spend with this book, the more we realize that this was not his memoir. That Too Far to Walk is his memoir, and this book was written expressly for the purpose of the treasure hunt, of the reasoning behind the treasure hunt. We agree with you, Sean.
Such as deciphering the poem by using the book.
Yeah.
But, we're doing our best. It's not easy. Mark Carl's here. Let's see. Oh, we got another. Is that another super chat?
No, that's the same. It just popped up to the top.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, Brian Eagle.
Oh. Cha-ching. From Brian Eagle, we got some super chat. Does he have a question?
Yeah, he says, AGK, what do you think of the crazy run-on, too many commas, forced Q&A, mysterious writings post last week? If you're referring to the one, let me see if I can remember it. I'm certainly not going to remember it verbatim, but it was the one where it started with it had the guy with liver cancer. If you're talking about that particular one, I wrote a blog post on it on our blog at gypsykiss.com, and basically I thought, for somebody that claims to be very careful with punctuation, he effectively tossed punctuation out the proverbial window. And so I took it upon myself. This will probably drive Forrest crazy. I rewrote the paragraph in his response and corrected all the punctuation errors. I mean, it was a bit of a mess. So anyway, Brian, you can see that on our blog. We actually have, it's within the last 3 or 4 posts.
If it's not that one, then let us know
Yeah.
what it is that you are wanting to talk about. Banco is white.
Blanco.
Exactly. William Ortiz says.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was wrong.
Ortiz. William Ortiz.
And then he says, sorry, that was wrong,
Yeah.
Blanco. Okay, he corrected himself. But yeah, it's like, come on,
Wait
guy.
a minute.
Blanco, but Bianca, or there's a lot, Blanche, there's a lot of things that are white.
Yeah.
But
Blanco is very
is-
unique to the bench.
yeah. Maybe pointing to a geographical bench.
You know, we've had all those thoughts, Alan. That's one of the things that we look for.
Saffron is here. Sean Malloy, if I can just get the words out. Davio, Banco and bench, same enough, yes.
Scrolling down. If I don't click on those, then it doesn't do that funny pop-up thing. I
Oh.
can see them here.
Yeah.
It looks funny. So I'm going to go ahead of you just so that we're not quiet the whole
Yeah,
time.
go ahead.
I'll start from the bottom, you start from the top.
Okay. Unknown searchers here.
Heather, what is it that your dad said twice to you? Oh, Jonah's in the room. Where? Jonah Jones, AGK, hi from Malibu Beach, back in the UK soon. Would be good to share experiences and thoughts. You know, Jonah, the easiest way for we agree with you, and maybe I would love to hear of what you and your family did. I know you spent some time, at least in Yellowstone. I don't know where else you went, but maybe we could set up a Zoom interview.
We're doing all about you with him.
I kind of feel like we've had enough of this conversation that. You know, Jono, if you haven't already filled out the questionnaire at questionnaire.agypsieskiss.tv, fill it out and let's set up an interview because I would like to hear about your trip. I know you made a big investment in bringing your family over here and you were here for quite a while. So please get in touch because I would like to hear more about it and I'm sure the community would like to hear more about it.
Now people are calling me Jenny.
Jenny. From what?
Be nicer to Jenny.
Oh.
Was it Julia, wasn't it?
It was Julie,
And
yeah.
Julie.
It was be nicer to Julie.
Nobody knows my name.
It wasn't be nicer. It was like take care of something. It wasn't make sure
Yeah, take care.
Yeah, make sure you take
Something
care of
like
Julie. At first I didn't know who he was talking about. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Did we get everything? Jimmy Fast. Hi, Jimmy Fast. Arby's sandwich. Yum. Okay. Going up to...
Don't be thinking about Arby's.
No. We already have
We have plans for dinner.
I have plans for dinner. It just did it. Hang on. Kentucky. The Kentucky man.
A Kentucky man is here. Mike Patterson from Kentucky saying hello. Sean Malloy says, I understand the interpretation of guilt, but I don't think that is precise. I think he's acknowledging that he stood on his father's shoulders.
As we all, I think, Sean, as we all realize after it's too late to be able to have that conversation with your father.
Yeah, and I think you just summed up in just a couple of words the whole thing I
Yeah.
was saying. So, yeah. Jim Black from Canada is here.
Yeah, John, it's a great wine. Very, a really fun wine.
Sea Monkey Vacations here.
Oh, long time no see.
In your smoke and pipe it, definitely Gypsy's Kiss.
Yeah, no. Put that in your smoke and pipe it.
Toby
Yeah.
says that a lot.
I do. I actually do say it like that. I don't. Even when I'm perfectly sober.
Yeah.
Greg Ferguson, $10. Thank you, Greg. That's very kind of you. Oh, we're just catching up with what we already said. Heather Brown is just having a good time, or Heather Dawn. Heather, I am glad that you're having such a good time.
Paul Ammons is here, and he says, why do you think Forrest Fenn said accidentally at the end of his answer in the email? I think it was just his proclivity, his way of doing things that
You mean
he
our
didn't
email?
intend. The one that we got from Cindy.
Oh, yeah.
He said his father wouldn't like to do the things that he did, that he chose accidentally. I think it was just his way, his personality that made him live that way. And that's why he says accidentally. What do you think?
Well, it's interesting because those two words are diametrically opposed to one another, right? You don't choose accidentally. Accidentally is what happens when you don't choose. So it sounds in the daily atmosphere, referring to that I always chose what he chose with the daily atmosphere, that he chose accidentally. You don't choose accidents. Accidents are what happen when you don't make choices.
Except that he's owning it at the same
But
time.
that's right. But he is owning it. He's owning the choice to live a life that wasn't as rigorous, as his father's. I think you're right in this case. I'm not sure that accidentally. I feel like I know what he's trying to say, but I don't think it's accidentally. Maybe serendipitously would be a better word than accidentally there, but I'm not going to try and correct him. I've done enough correcting offense words this week, so I'm not going to get myself in any more trouble. But yeah, that's an interesting. It's who asked that? Is that
Paul Ammons.
Paul? Yeah, Paul. I think there is a dichotomy between in the words of that last part of the sentence. Yeah.
Heather Dawn wants us to say hi to Christopher Hurst, whoever that is. Hello, Christopher Hurst.
Christopher Hurst. Christopher Hurst. Say hi to Christopher Hurst. Christopher Hurst. Hey, brother. Please, pretty.
Steve's here from Oregon. Ron Leek.
I'm going up to Heather Dawn's thanks.
So they're talking about bank is derived from banco, bench, counter.
Yeah.
Could it also be the bank of a river?
That's a good question because I've heard it. It can
Could
be
it be
because
that bench that we sit on whenever we go to the
our treasure canyon. It's the kind of word banco in Spanish that does have multiple meanings. So it could be any of those things. I don't think it's the bank of the river, and I'm not sure that I can remember what it is, but I think it could apply.
Much love to the gingers. Aw, yeah, they're cuties. Oh, but I saw a picture of her. The last picture I saw of her, she was a baby, a toddler. And the next picture I saw of her, she was like, her face had thinned down. She'd gotten, she had a growth spurt.
Yeah.
And she turned into a little girl.
A little girl, yeah, as opposed to.
Whoa, she's not
Well,
a
that's
baby
what I'm
anymore.
trying not to miss with Everly,
Everly, yeah.
because she's getting to that point. She's starting to walk.
Yeah.
And I feel like I saw her as a baby, and the next time I see her, she's going to be a little girl. So
Toddler. You got to
Yeah.
hit the toddlers. Got to get in there while they're little.
Debbie Teal, where was that schoolhouse located in the spoke of his father taking them for that quote? I know what you're talking about, and I have a sense that the schoolhouse was someplace in Wyoming, but I'm sure, Eric Schmidt, where are you when we need you? Where's the schoolhouse that had that quote about teachers doing God's work? Debbie, I don't remember. I just didn't focus on it. So
It was up in Montana, wasn't
Was it?
On the way to where they were going. It was out of their way a little bit.
Well, yeah, but you would have gone through Wyoming. If they were going to West Yellowstone, they would have only been in Montana for just a little bit. They would have spent most
Yeah,
of
well,
their
they had to go out of their way, though.
Yeah.
I don't
So
know if it was in Montana.
maybe somebody
or
else can answer that
Thought it
question.
was
I don't
Montana.
remember.
We're both drinking at the same time. We have dead air. Steve Gahagan wants to know, what does bonito mean, and how cold are the nights getting there? They're starting to cool off over the last week.
Bonito is rarely used because it's pretty, and the O on it would indicate that it's masculine in gender. So you rarely refer to a man as bonito. You may refer to a woman as bonita. The only other time that I've heard the word bonito used is when it's applied to a saltwater fish called a bonito that nobody eats.
You wouldn't call a baby boy bonito?
Muy bonito, but you'd say muy chulo. Chulo is a little puppy, Que chulito. You pinch his cheeks. Mira que chulito. So, at least that's
He
me.
channels his mom when he sees a baby.
Yeah, babies.
Do you think, Jack Tack says, do you think the Yellowstone fires of 1988, 800,000 acres, 36% burned, may have played a part in Forrest Fenn's decision to hide a treasure?
Gosh, John, there is. I've never even heard of the fires. Haven't focused on it. Hadn't done the research. It would be me making a totally uninformed conclusion. I couldn't answer that. I mean, that falls into the I don't know category, just because I have no way to. I think it's
John
an interesting.
Tesh says it's good to say I don't know.
Okay, well, John, thank you for the wine, but I don't know.
I'm at the bottom.
Okay, going up to there.
Baldwin Wallace. That's a new name. Has Forrest ever written about the 1959 earthquake by Hebgen Lake outside of Yellowstone that created Quake Lake and cost the lives of 28 people who were camping and fishing?
I think he's acknowledged it in conversations, but I don't think he's ever written about it. I'm sure they probably were aware of it because they would have had to go gone to Yellowstone that following summer and probably seen some of the devastation that it would cause. But I've never heard him outright discuss it in detail. You may be able to find something else. What I would do is go to terryscant.com and just enter the phrase Quake Lake and see if he's ever said anything. But I have no memory of it. I mean, there's Sean Dotson, the flip side of Forrest Fenn's treasurer, has a memory bank in his head full of that stuff. So maybe he can tell you, but I've never heard it mentioned. Great name, though, Baldwin Wallace.
So if it's Bonito Lake, it's probably referring to the fish?
No, because the bonito is a saltwater fish.
Oh.
A lake is a freshwater.
So what would it be referring to if it's Bonito Lake?
A pretty lake.
A last
They
name
just made it
or-
a masculine. No, it's not likely a last name. Bonito is not a Spanish surname. It's calling it a bonito lake. It's just a pretty lake. Muy bonito.
Steve Gahagan
So
says...
bonito is not only masculine, it's neutral. Right? So if it's not feminine, then the masculine is applied. So pretty bonito lake is pretty lake. It's not referring to the fish because it's a saltwater fish.
Okay. Steve Gahagan, so you're the reason for the punctuation Q&A?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think so. No, I'm sure we're not. That goes to a whole other conversation that was started way back when on a Dale site, and then I think has migrated over to the other sites, the Hint of Riches forum as well as Chase Chat. You see it on there. We are not. We are not punctuation nerds. We don't focus on the punctuation. What's his name? Troy Barlow on his Why Must I Go channel does a lot with punctuation, if I remember correctly. But we're not punctuation purists, I guess. We don't pay much attention to it.
And they said the schoolhouse is in Wyoming.
There you go.
So there.
I mean, we're the guys that ignore everything after where warm waters halt. So the last thing
That's true.
why would we focus on punctuation if we don't do any? If we don't.
Chalito. What's chalito?
Chalito is another. It's a colloquialism. Muy chalito. Eee.
Nicola.
Que perrito tan chalito. You have a cute little dog.
It's a...
Yeah. So don't get me started on the colloquialisms
Yeah.
in New Mexico. I can go on forever.
Oh.
Okay. Are we getting close? Yeah, we got time.
Oh, I was just thinking of something funny, but I'll talk to you about it
Okay. All right.
later. Because it's not about this. It's about something local that they wouldn't understand.
Okay.
Okay. Goldilocks says something at the very bottom.
It wouldn't be that you wouldn't understand. It's just that you wouldn't be aware of it.
Well, and I could make them look it up, but it would be so convoluted that I don't know if they want to
Okay.
sit around and wait for the whole story.
Muy chalito. It
But-
could be a very chalito
So
story.
if you're interested,
I should have shut up when I should have shut up. Okay, go.
there is this video out there. It's been out there for several years. And it's SHIT. I'm not going to say the word out loud. I don't want to disturb our... But it's
You're gonna screw up my
SHIT
monetization here.
Burqueños say.
Oh,
And
what's her
it's
name?
Lauren Poole. She's a friend. She's an actress, local actress, and she plays this character called Lynette, and it's really hilarious. And it's got like probably 1 million views at least. And if you go on YouTube, you can find it. SHIT Burqueños say, and
Burqueños, short, Albuquerqueans.
Yeah.
Burqueños.
It's hilarious. So go look at it, and then think about that character, Lynette, and she's doing a jewelry commercial. And she's doing a local jewelry commercial. So she's in this jewelry store looking at the jewelry, and then you see her in her mind, she's thinking of, and in black and white they show, it's kind of like a perfume commercial, where they have got her doing all these very interesting and odd things, being all posh and fancy, and then they come back to her in the jewelry store, and she's looking at the ring, and she's like, "This ring makes me feel all fancy."
Yeah. She's what's really interesting is Lauren is Anglo. She's an actress.
Well, she grew up in Albuquerque. But
Yeah.
she's,
And her father is an actor. As a matter of fact, we did some work with him, didn't we? Wasn't he in one of our?
yeah, he's in that The Sting we did with
Sophia.
Sophia.
Sophia. Yeah, we
Yeah.
did a movie called The Sting with Sophia. I
Very
directed
short movie.
and shot. But her father is in that movie, and he's a very good actor. He won the Best Actor award for that year's 48-hour film festival. But she's funny because she's picked up the right accents and the right words and the right phrases, and it's really true. These are things that Burqueños say. So
anyway, go
you get a
find
chance,
that and
Lauren
watch it
Poole.
if you need a laugh.
Yeah.
And we're at the bottom with Goldilocks, AGK.
Okay. Goldilocks has a question.
Could Banco
refer to a riverbank? Yes, Goldie, it could.
We think alike.
Yeah, we think it is possible.
Buttery.
Heather is fighting with somebody. Don't be fighting in the room, Heather. So they're all saying. If Forrest and his father walked past a gate to a sign on the gate that said, trespassers will be shot on sight, would they both jump the gate? No.
Well, obviously his father wouldn't.
I don't think either of them would, because trespassing, being warned that you're going to be shot on sight, is not a
You're not
challenge.
supposed to go where you're not supposed to go.
You're not supposed to go. You're not supposed, as Forrest would say, don't go where you're not supposed to go. I think if it said, fresh, leave my fresh apricot trees alone, I think Forrest would have jumped that fence and his father wouldn't have. And his father would have stood there and saying, Forrest, get back out here. Those aren't your apricots. So David Dow answered the question about the schoolhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Guys, make sure that when you ask us a question, you precede it with @ a Gypsy's Kiss or AGK so that we know it's about us.
Okay.
Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the bottom. Okay. All right. We are out of the chat room. I'm peeking somehow. Dadgummit. I'm afraid it's going to tangle.
You and your radio voice.
Yeah, the radio. I don't have my radio voice today because it's wine.
Yeah, it's sweet.
Okay. So we are out of the chat room. We need to go back here to finish up. So you get...
Boom.
Two
Are
more.
you living the dream?
Wait. Okay. Boom. Now you can do it.
Boom. Are you living the dream? Create the life you want by subscribing to thesofterside.me and joining Toby and I tonight at 7 o'clock Mountain Time. And we're going to be discussing the law of attraction and
by that
how
time-
that can work for you in your life.
By that time, we would have finished the rest of the bottle, so it's going to be a riot.
Yeah. So be there in
Don't
the
be
chat
square.
room with us and keep us honest.
Yeah, straight and narrow.
Friday, be sure to look for the new It's All About You interview at 1 o'clock p.m. And you can see the picture of John Bobbitt there. I don't know if you've noticed, but Interested Observer's been putting out quite a few funny little videos. And the latest one is called It's All About You, John Bobbitt. And he's just taken some pieces from this interview along with some other interviews John Bobbitt has done in the past and kind of mashed them together, and it's pretty funny. You should take a look. Interested Observer, right?
Is that the guy? I don't know. Is that the guy that did the video about us
Yes.
with the little dog?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And he's also done one about, like, it's in a schoolhouse, and it's really funny. And
Oh,
then there's this one with John Bobbitt. So he's putting out a couple of weeks. So take a look at those cute little videos. They're all pretty much centered around the Fenn treasure or things to do with what we, things that interests that we might have. So there you go. Make sure you like this video with a thumbs up, share with your social media contacts, and subscribe by clicking on the bell and getting all those notifications. And do all those things.
getting all
Do the
these-
things, you know
do
the
the
things. Do the
things.
things.
Okay, back to full screen and okay.
Okay, thanks for being here, for all your great questions and comments in the chat room. Thanks to our new friend John Tack for the honey mead, and next week we'll be drinking the dandelion wine. So make
Iowa
sure you tune in for
Dandelion
that.
Blossom is the name of the
Dandelion
wine.
blossom.
Yeah.
So as long as we're not sneezing as we're drinking, it should be fun.
Are you allergic? No.
No, I just thought, like, weeds and stuff would make you sneeze.
All right, here's an interesting bit of trivia for you. The dandelion is actually named, is the French phrase dent de lion, and it stands for teeth of the lion. That's where dandelion comes from.
Aha. So it's like a lion biting you.
Well, that's where it came from. That's how they named the blossom. It came as, this looks like the teeth of the lion. So we shall call
Yeah.
it dent de lion.
And so they did.
That was my French imitation. It's not very good, is it?
Well, it's better than mine.
Okay.
And for Gypsy's Kiss the Book Club, I'm Shelley Carney.
And I'm Toby Eunice. We won't see you tomorrow because tomorrow's a video, but we will see you next Tuesday. Well, you'll see the lineup next Monday, but the lineup is going to be interesting because we're going to be in Santa Fe on
That's
Thursdays.
right. We can't drink our dandelion wine for 2 weeks.
Oh, that's right. Dang nabbit.
Okay.
Okay, so it's 2 weeks because we're not going to open up a bottle of wine at the Collected Works bookstore. We'll be at
We wouldn't
Collected
have
Works
enough to share with
bookstore
everyone.
on Thursday. We'll be doing our show on Thursday, September 6th, from the Collected Works bookstore, so that we can do the raffle drawing. Okay, so
It's not book club, but it is a bookstore. So be there.
okay, I'm taking your wine away from that. Okay, we love you guys. Thanks.